Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another, pen chat, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm going to call these officially, but I really have an interest in checking in with you weekly and just talking about things that are going on in my stationery and fountain pen life. This is my co-host today, Sir Lumpy. Hi, handsome. You tired? So I think for the weekly pen chats, we're going to talk about a few different things. One will be any life updates or business updates that I have for Time with Tata or Juicy Broads or things going on in my life. I will talk about some new stuff, maybe that I haven't yet showcased in a formal video. I'll talk about some upcoming videos, and I'm going to talk a little bit about books, well, at least in today's episode. So I guess I will start with some life updates. Right after I got back from Stationery Fest, I decided to move to an every other week schedule for Juicy Broads. Because I manage Time with Tata and I do Juicy Broads, and I also have Lori's Boston Found, which is my main channel, I have just been feeling like I'm juggling a lot. And this fall, we're going to be doing some pretty big renovations. We have to rip up the carpet in the basement, and I'm going to be putting in hardwood floors throughout our downstairs and doing a new kitchen. So I don't know how I'm going to get it all done, but I thought that maybe going to every other week for Juicy Broads was just one thing that I could, save a little bit of time that way. Did you move, Lumpy? Are you more comfortable over there? So we are moving to every other week. So today we were supposed to go live, but I postponed again because we lost Jay's dad last Tuesday. For those of you who don't know, I started dating my husband when I was 14 years old, and I am 51. So my father-in-law was a really amazing guy. And okay, definitely going to edit out the tears, but my father-in-law was amazing. And one of the nicest men I ever knew. He had a stroke 6 years ago. He had a heart attack when he was 55. And then he had a bad stroke 6 years ago. And my mother-in-law has been his incredible caretaker for all these years. He's had a couple strokes since his first. He's been fighting for a real long time. But we're pretty heartbroken, and we're going to miss him so much. So I just couldn't go live. We are going to go live next Wednesday, September 4th. We are going to talk with Tom Otto from Gold Spot Pens, and we are going to do back to school suggestions and stationery, and it should be really fun. And I think I'll be feeling better by then. We've been doing okay. I just haven't talked about this. Even on my main channel, where I tend to share a lot more of my personal life. Anyway, maybe I should have saved that till the end of the video, but I just wanted to let you know why I wasn't on Juicy Broads this week. So I just took a little time off, and we'll be back on September 4th. Vanessa is going live this Wednesday with a special guest. So I think that's all I have for updates. Juicy Broads will be going every other week moving forward. Let's talk about new stuff because, retail therapy, it's a thing. So I did actually post a video about my new Esterbrook SD in Incredible Rock, and I've just been loving this pen. This is from their Back to the Land series. I have a full video on this, but I've been really enjoying it. I got this in a medium nib, and Esterbrook sent me the button piston fill, which I love because you have a little ink window here, and you have the little blind cap here, and you push the little button here, and you fill your ink that way. Also, thank you to the people who voted on which collection they wanted me to share. I think Esterbrook won. I was going to do either my Sailor collection or my Esterbrook collection, which, fun fact, I've already filmed my Esterbrook collection back in March, but I think I've gotten 2 or 3 since then, and I never published that. So I'm going to reshoot that. It's primarily just all Esterbrook Esties with a couple exceptions, but that will be coming up in an upcoming video. In addition to that, I was also generously gifted from Tom Otto over at Gold Spot this awesome Edison pen. And I'm saying that this is my last summer pen that I am celebrating. This pen just screams summer to me. Actually, it makes me think of Dunkin' Donuts because Dunkin' Donuts, their colors are orange and pink. This is my cold brew from earlier today. And I just think that Dunkin's and this pen go really well together. So I met Tom for the first time in person at Stationery Fest with Kieran, I think I'm pronouncing her name right, who is the owner or a co-owner of Goldspot Pens. So it was such a treat to meet them both. But Tom was telling me about this Goldspot exclusive from Edison. And I said, I don't own an Edison pen. I actually bought a lot of pre-owned pens, and I did have an Edison pen in that buyout. I think it was from 2014, but it was worth a fair amount of money, so I decided to sell it. I didn't have like a personal attachment to it. It was a really great writer. Tom sent me this. It's called Patent Pending Pink, which I'm obsessed with the name. I think that's so much fun. Look at the colors in there. Now, you all know that I do love my neutral colors, but the other pen that Goldspot sent me was this pink champagne. So I feel like Goldspot has my heart with the pink pens, and I just love the name of this, Patent Pending Pink. And it does have little hints of like this light lime green, or almost like a yellowish green. But primarily what stands out to me is the pink and the orange. And I decided to get this in a 1.1 stub nib, and it's been so much fun. I actually inked it up with the same ink that I inked this up with, which is Pilot Iroshizuku. What's the name of it? Hold on, let me look here. Kosimusu, here it is. So here's a little writing sample. My ink journal has been really going well for me. I'm going to talk about this in my planner lineup, which I'll talk about as an upcoming video. But I've been loving this pen. By the time you see this, I would have already put out an Instagram reel on this, and I will probably do a more detailed writing sample and review of this in an upcoming video. But it's new and I haven't featured it yet. I have a really hard time with unboxings and doing reviews in the moment. It's always so much fun to film an unboxing, but then I feel like I need to get to know a pen. I think I put like a more orangey gold color in here at first, and I didn't love it. And once I put the pink in here, which, Patent Pending Pink for the name of this pen, you need to put pink in here. I just loved it. It wrote fine. I just didn't love the color combo before. It's a cartridge converter pen. Like I said, it's a stub nib. I think this retails for $1.99, which is, I think, a little bit more expensive than the typical Edison. This is the Edison Newark, Newark. I love it. It's such a great writer. I love the stub nib. I've been having so much fun with it. And like I said, it's my summer punch pen. So thank you to Goldspot. I will leave a link for this in the description if you want to check it out. If you are holding on to the last weeks of summer, this will be such a fun pen for you. I'm excited to chat with Tom on the 4th, so be sure to mark your calendars, 4 p.m. Eastern on September 4th for our chat with Tom Otto of Goldspot Pens. We're going to be talking about back to school stationery. 2 other major purchases I made, and again, I have not talked about it because of life stuff that's been happening. Atlas had their sidewalk sale, and one of the things that they offered in their sidewalk sale was the Platinum Izumo. This is an Urushi pen that typically retails for $1,000, like $9.95 or something like that. Because of all of you wonderful people who use my link over at Atlas, I have had some ongoing credit there. I never want to drain the bank account, so to speak, on one purchase, but I'll use a portion of it. When something goes on last chance at Atlas, it's 50% off. But as an affiliate, you have to buy it at the full price. You can't double dip, get the 50% off price and then use your affiliate credit. They have a very generous affiliate program anyways. So typically if something goes on last chance, I will have to pay for it out of pocket and not use my credit unless I want to pay full price for it. So a good example is the Pelican M600 in the white and red was on last chance. So instead of using my affiliate credit and paying full price for that, I paid for it separately, not using my affiliate credit, and was able to get it at 50% off, which was a great deal, and I love that pen. This, however, for their sidewalk sale, they had what they call doorbusters, and the doorbuster prices were just the prices. So last chance, this would be 50% off, but then if I went to buy it on my own, it would go back up to $1,000, and I would just never pay that for this pen. I don't have any Urushi pens, and this is Platinum's flagship pen. And so I really wanted to try it. And when it was a doorbuster, you get to use your credit and you get it at that doorbuster price. So I think I used $375 worth of credit towards this pen, and it was $4.95. So out of pocket, I paid like $130 for this. So thank you so much. If you use my link, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And I'm really excited about this because this is a pen I would not have otherwise invested in. I just want to show you quickly. It's bigger, but it's similar size to the 149. I mean, this is a large pen. They have it with like a little red accent, so that's what I got. I wanted to get the tan accent. It's very subtle. This has maybe 5 coats of Urushi lacquer, and it's just so beautiful to hold. It's amazing. It is a cartridge converter fill. It's an 18 karat gold nib. I will keep you posted on this. I've already changed the ink 3 times. I'll show you what ink is in here now. But this is just such a treat to be able to have this pen. Oh, let me show you the difference. It's got a small nib, which is one of the criticisms of this pen, because for it being the flagship pen of Platinum, if you see it next to a 149, you see the difference in the nib. And this is actually just a resin right here. This isn't the Urushi. You can see it's slightly different. It's hard to see it up close, but this portion of the pen is just a regular resin. There's a glimpse of the ink I have in there. Anyways, thank you so much for this. I have been loving it. What I wiped out most of my credit with was the purchase of this Aurora 888. And Atlas also had an Aurora 888 on last chance. This was not on last chance. I had heard such wonderful things about this pen. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say something bad about the Aurora 888, except for the fact that it's expensive. So it can be called the 88 or the 888. This is the Volterra. I've been loving this pen. I have to say, I have reached for this pen more than any other pen in my collection over the past week. There's definitely some newness bias to it. I got a medium nib. It came with this brown ink. I think I want to put something a little bit lighter in here, but oh my goodness, it's a stiff nib. It's an 18 karat gold nib, but it is stiffer than some of the soft nibs you feel, say when you're comparing it to the 823. It is not that buttery soft nib, but I think I have a bit of a heavy hand, and I feel like this can push back a little on me. And I've just been loving it, loving it. It is a piston fill. It also has an ink window. And this was just such a treat to be able to add this to my collection as well. When I went to Stationery Fest, I only bought 1 pen. And I knew that I had some credit at Atlas, and I just tend to be a better bargain hunter when I'm online. This was not a bargain though, but I did use a lot of my Atlas credit. If you are interested in the Aurora 88, they do have the blue one with silver or rhodium trim still available in a broad nib for half price. I decided to go this route since I was using mostly credit for this and investing a little cash, because this is my wheelhouse for color. I love neutral. This will go with so much. I was a little mixed on whether or not I liked the fact that you could see some of the ink through here. It's a darker ink, but I actually kind of think it's cool. I thought it was going to bother me at first because this is semi-transparent, but it also shows you how much ink you have in there. I wonder how it will look if I put a different ink in here. And also, I don't know if you can see some of the green, like the iridescent green on this, but it is just beautiful. So I think that would be fun too. I think there's a diamine ink called Willow Tree, or just Willow, that is kind of a neutrally, like a beigey color that leans towards green, that I think I'm gonna try in here. I've just been reaching for this over and over. It's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, so 4 new pens: the Edison Newark, the Aurora 88, the Platinum Izumo, and of course the Incredible Rock. So these are like all new pens this August. And if you count my Stationery Fest purchase, my Hachimonjia Sailor Pink Bloom pen, which is absolutely gorgeous. So there's been a lot of pens, my friends. If you remember, July was No Buy July. June, I was at the Dutch Pen Show. There were a lot of pens that month. I feel pretty content. I continue to love my Mont Blanc inks, and this is the Olympic Heritage Red that is available. They also have a Heritage Blue that I really like. It's like a dusty blue, was not available when I ordered this. I also got at the same time that I purchased this Around the World in 80 Days, which I have in cartridge form, but I didn't have a bottle of the ink. And I've been a little bit in collecting mode with Mont Blanc inks because there have been a few that I have had to hunt down, Swan Illusion being one of them, because it was no longer available. And then you end up paying more money, and I don't want to pay more money for these Mont Blanc inks if I can find it in my budget to get them in the moment. So that Heritage Red is what I put in my Izumo this round. I started with Candy Marsala from Ferris Wheel Press. Then I put Bubble Tea in there, which was a Lennon Tool exclusive at Stationery Fest. It's super light, and I thought it would work really well in there, but it actually wrote really dry out of the gate. It got much better, but I thought I was going to enjoy it more in that pen. So I switched gears again because I wanted to try the Olympic Red. So that is right here. That's the Olympic Red. And here is the writing sample right here. So it's very bold and I love it. I feel like I will end up settling somewhere in between something so light as Bubble Tea and then something so rich and deep as the Heritage Red. I'll probably land somewhere in between, but I'm enjoying the boldness of the red. There have been a lot of videos out on planner updates for 2025. The Hobonichi release is literally days away, and I feel like I'm in such a different place on my thoughts on Hobonichi this year in 2024 versus 2023, because if you remember last year for the release, September 1st, I was in Tokyo and I was at the Hobonichi store. I was so excited to be there and I was so team Hobonichi. I don't think I had started with my B6 Common Planner. I may have still been in my A5 cousin, but I think I knew I was moving away from the cousin. But I picked up a Hone and I picked up a Techo, the original Techo. I also picked up a specialty cover that was quite pricey, none of which really worked out for me. I picked up a Weeks. I think Weeks is like the last thing that I may hold on to for Hobonichi. I'm curious where you stand with Hobonichi now. I feel like since I started with the cousin probably in 2021 or 2022, so many things have been released in the way of planners. I am just a total Sterling Ink convert. I plan on being in my B6. I know I'm going to be in my B6 for 2025 as my daily planner. And then this is the undated A5 Common Planner. That's working out so well for my ink journal. I don't think there's anything from the lineup, if I'm being really honest, that super excited me. I feel like so much of the Hobonichi collection is very youthful. It's very whimsical and fun, and they feature different artists, and it's wonderful. But when I look at my own aesthetic, I feel like I'm more of a classic style person. I have my Louis Vuitton. My Common Planner is in black. This is something I haven't talked about yet, but this is my Mulberry A6 that I'm planning to introduce in 2025 that I haven't really discussed yet. More from Galen Leather. Even my Kindle cover is very simple. So I think a lot of the Hobonichi covers that have like cartoon characters or things like that, they just don't speak to me. They're adorable and I see other people using them and I get inspired. But if I'm being really honest with myself, there was really nothing from the lineup that got me super excited. And I wanted to do a big like, oh, Hobonichi release. What am I buying? Here's my lineup. This is what I'm getting. And there's just really nothing I'm super excited about. I will probably get a Weeks for 2025. This year, I've been struggling to use that as my wellness journal. And I'm giving myself to the end of the year to make good use of my Weeks in that regard. And if I don't, I am going to move my wellness stuff into something else, like maybe traveler's notebooks, or maybe that A6 that I showed you from Mulberry, that notebook. I'm not sure what I'm doing with my wellness journal. Let me know in the comments if you're feeling similar about Hobonichi. I don't know if it's just that there is so much hype over Hobonichi now. Like, so many people do Hobonichi launch parties and, you know, the day-by-day glimpse of the previews of the items, and they have such an incredible array of items. The one thing that I've considered is the 5-year techo. And the reason I love Hobonichis over everybody else, it's a really little pet peeve thing, is that they actually commit to the year. So when you buy your Hobonichi 5-year, it says 2024, 2025, 2026, 27, 28. It gives you the actual 5 years. I wanted to get sterling inks. However, you have to like stamp in the date, or most of the other 5-year diaries that I see will say like 20, and then it's blank in parentheses. And every day you write, you have to write the year in. And it's a very small detail, but it's a pet peeve of mine. Like, I like that you have to commit to the years with Hobonichi, which usually dated stuff freaks me out. But with that, I like that it's set. If you're going to commit to a 5-year journal, you might as well have it all in there, you know? I was watching Karina from Karina Loves to Plan, and she was talking about in the 5th year on the Hobonichi, which is something that I think a lot of us struggle with Hobonichi. On the 5th section at the bottom, on the bottom right-hand side, you have, you know, the section for each year. But on the bottom, they have quotes and writing. Karina was using both sides of the book, so whatever she was writing on the left, and then on the right, I think she was recording the weather, maybe a gratitude, a line of gratitude or whatever. But when she gets to her 5th year, on the right-hand side, there's all that writing on the bottom. So I'm like, maybe I'll just do 4 years of it, you know? Anyways, first world problems, right? I am thinking about that. I won't move on that until late December if I decide to do that. I was a little disappointed that I wasn't more excited about Hobonichi. I'm just so happy with my sterling ink stuff. And I think in my last video, I talked more about how I am more of a journaler and less of a planner. So you will see a huge shift in my planners for 2025 to undated things, more journal style and creative drawings, Zentangles, ink samples, things like that. I'm moving away from multiple planners and moving closer to more journals and notebooks. I did, however, order a plotter in an A5. I broke down, I went down the rabbit hole. I don't plan on really talking about it much until I dig in and really figure out what I want to do. I know one of the things I want to do with my plotter is do my project management for the renovations we're doing on the house. I want to keep that in there. And I also want to be able to carry the plotter with me. My family makes fun of me because I walk around the house with piles of notebooks all the time. One of the things that I tend to take with me when I'm on the go is my B6 planner from Sterling Ink. And it's a little chunky. And then sometimes I will have my weeks with me on the go, or I'll bring a traveler's notebook on the go. And I want to configure my plotter so that it's something that I can take with me everywhere. Even though it's an A5, it's very streamlined and small, and I want to keep it that way. I'll get into more details about why I took the plunge on that, besides just being an overconsumer and buying into the hype. That's coming, but I will talk about that in my 2025 planner video that will probably go out end of October. I think because I'm not into any of the Hobonichis, this is when a lot of people are doing their planner updates. I'm just not ready for it yet. It's only August. I'm not ready for my planner update. So maybe in October, I'll share more of that with you. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is Jane Austen. As some of you may know, I got this Jane Austen pen for my 51st birthday. It was the first pen that I ever bought from Mont Blanc that was new. Well, actually, I take that back. I got the baby from Apple Boom. I did get that on a special. I did get that new, but this was the first time I had bought a pen in store. When this pen was released, I first saw a reel of it from my friend Claire Coco, who purchased it. And then I went to their website and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with everything about it. the colorway, the combination of like the silver and gold together, the detail of the clip, the finial. I mean, everything about this I just loved. So I got this for my birthday. And then I immediately was like, you have no business buying a Jane Austen pen. You've never read a Jane Austen book. So I vowed to myself that I was going to read Pride and Prejudice. And this book has sent me down such a rabbit hole for Jane Austen. I finished Pride and Prejudice. I read it. I downloaded it on my Kindle. So most of Jane Austen books are free on Kindle or they're under $1. But then I also bought this Penguin book version of Pride and Prejudice, this hardcover, like linen, fabric-y, beautiful collector style book. So I would kind of use them in tandem, but realistically, I read it mostly on my Kindle. And I just love this book so much. And now I am fascinated by all things Jane Austen. I started to read Persuasion. It's taking me a little bit more to get into this book, but I think with everything going on with my family, I just haven't like been in the zone, and Jane Austen takes some concentration to read. And I was so into the characters here that I'm trying to get to know the characters in Persuasion. It is a bit of a smaller book, so I wanted to go for that, but I am totally down the Jane Austen rabbit hole. I finally watched the movie with Keira Knightley, and that was wonderful. And I just started the 6-part like mini series with Colin Firth from the early 90s. And this is thanks to all of you who watched my Jane Austen pen video and made these suggestions. Last night, I rented on Amazon Prime the Jane Austen Book Club, which was so much fun. That was like from 2007. It's a very light rom-com, but it's just so much fun. I just ordered the Pride and Prejudice ink from Waringal. I am just loving Jane Austen. Where has she been my whole life? I don't know how I never read anything. Like I didn't know who Mr. Darcy was 3 months ago, which seems incredible. In the midst of all of this, my husband and I drove to Connecticut, and we were looking for a new Audible book to listen to. Because when we do long rides, we listen to books, and we decided to download Jane Eyre. Oh my goodness, I might like Jane Eyre more than Pride and Prejudice, but we are listening to that on Audible. And if you go to the Audible version of Jane Eyre, I don't know who the narrator is, but she is brilliant. I mean, the way she narrates this book is just incredible. I don't think I could have done Jane Eyre, reading Jane Eyre and reading Persuasion at the same time, but listening to Jane Eyre on Audible has been phenomenal. We look forward to every chapter. I did end up getting on Amazon this version of Jane Eyre. There's also a Pride and Prejudice version of this book, and it's illustrated, and there are notes inside, and it just is a beautiful book. So as you can see, I'm like starting down this path, and I need to be very careful because I go hard into rabbit holes and hobbies. I'm kind of going back to this and looking through some of it after we read a chapter. I have been gearing up to do more of my Traveler's Notebook because I started a Traveler's Notebook with a reading log, but I feel like I owe these books more than just like a little blurb. So I'm not sure how I'm going to approach that, but I've read like 9 or 10 books this year, which is rare for me because I'm not a very avid reader, but I'm in my reading era. So I'm loving my Kindle. I just also finished Hotel Nantucket on Audible. I don't know why I held up my Kindle because that was a great Audible book, very light. My daughter worked on Nantucket Island this summer, and Ellen Hildebrand is from Nantucket, and she's famous for all of her novels about Nantucket Island. I decided to download Hotel Nantucket on Audible, which was so much fun. It has a little supernatural in it. It's very light. I would literally listen to it every morning as I brushed my teeth and put on makeup and curled my hair, or when I was folding laundry. So anyways, I have all these things going on, but I've been really enjoying reading, and it's been a nice escape this past week. Let me know in the comments what you're reading. Let me know what your favorite Jane Austen book is. Let me know if you prefer Jane Eyre over Jane Austen. Also, didn't know that Charlotte Bronte was sister to Emily Bronte, who wrote Wuthering Heights. Didn't know that those three sisters were writers. I'm learning all this stuff, and it's so much fun. I thrift for a living, so when I go to thrift stores now, I'm looking in the book section to see if they have any cool versions of Pride and Prejudice or, you know, Emma, Sense and Sensibility. I'm looking to just pick up cool copies of these books. And I will probably likely complete this collection, but I'm only allowing myself to buy the book when I've read the other one. I'm only a few chapters into Persuasion. So far, it has not grabbed me like Pride and Prejudice had, but again, like I said, we've had some stuff going on. But anyways, that is my long-winded update. Let me know if you enjoy these catch-up videos. I'm sorry I have a big orangutan in the background. I should probably get rid of that. I've switched over most things in my son's room, but that still remains. So that is your background for this video. Of any of the pens I mentioned today, do you have any? Are any of them on your wish list? Are any of them your favorites? Have any of them disappointed you? I love talking about pens. So I think it's kind of fun to have this little catch-up session every week, and then I can do deep dives, you know, when I get to them, because I'm not always the best about doing that. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here today. So upcoming videos, the Esterbrook collection video, I'm going to do a September currently inked, and you're going to see a lot of the pens that I just showcased here, but I think I'm going to pull in some of my fall pens for September, but I'm really enjoying these last few weeks of summer with my Edison Newark. I will put links to whatever I can below. And again, thank you all so much for using my Atlas links. There are so many pens that I would not have if it weren't for you generously using my link. Typically you save 10%, but they don't allow you to take it off of Last Chance or Doorbusters. Esterbrook is excluded from that. Sailor is also excluded, and there are a couple other brands. But typically you can get a couple dollars off, and then I get some credit and I get to share those pens here with you. So thank you all so much. Be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss an upload from me, and I'll see you real soon. Take care. Grumpy, say goodbye to everybody. He's been sleeping under my chair this whole time. First he was on the bed and then he went underneath. Oh yeah, this is your sleepy time, isn't it? He's such a good boy. And I love you.